Sometimes mysteries are best left unsolved. I want to talk about that today on Greyhawk Grognard. One of the things I love about Greyhawk is, despite the fact that it's been around for 45 years in print, that there's still so much left to be explored. We don't know much of anything outside the Flyness, for example. We don't know what the Celestial Imperium is like, or what the rest of the continent of Orc is like, or what most of the other continents on the planet are like. They're all mysteries. And this is despite the fact that there have been official publications and fan-produced publications for literally decades. I love that. I love that fact. And when you take things down a little into a little more detail, there's still innumerable uh, mysteries out there that still have yet to be solved. And I think that is a great thing because it doesn't hem in the creativity of the DM or the players. And I think by having these mysteries out there and leaving them as mysteries, or leaving them unsolved by official or unofficial publications, it enables the dungeon master to create his own solutions to those mysteries. And I think that is invaluable, and it allows the DM to really express his own creativity and put his mark on his Greyhawk by his answers to these questions. And your answers to these mysteries might be completely different than my answers to these mysteries, and that's the beauty of it. It really helps you put your stamp on the campaign. Even though we're working off the same basic information, there's going to be no confusing my version of Greyhawk for your version of Greyhawk because we each have different solutions to these ancient, vast mysteries. And I want to walk through a couple of them by way of example. The first and most obvious one, and I covered this in a recent video, is the invoked devastation and the rain of colorless fire, the twin cataclysms. We don't know exactly how they were done, and there's no official source that tells us, this is how they did it. There's a few little details get thrown here and there, but nothing that actually spells it out. Was the invoked devastation a 10th level spell? We don't know. How could you cast a 10th level spell if that was the case? We again don't know. And that's the beauty of it. It can be a 10th level spell that was cast in another dimension that allows such things through a portal that leads into Earth in my campaign, or it could be something completely different in your campaign. And that's the beauty of it. I love those things. When you have mysteries like that. Another one that really is really well suited to hang a campaign on is Thordun, the dead god, the imprisoned god. And Thordun over the years has been the subject of so much uh, embellishment by different authors, both official and unofficial. But he has his origin obviously in Lovecraftian horror and things like that, with the different imprisoned gods and so forth, like Cthulhu and so forth. But the way it's described, and again, I did a video on Thorosden not too long ago, and the way it's described, there's still so much that is unknown. Which gods imprisoned Thorosden in the cyst? Is the cyst itself Thorosden's physical manifestation? We don't know. Uh, how do you get Thorosden out of there? How would you go about freeing Thorosden from this cyst, if in fact he's even in it in the first place? There's all kinds of things that are attendant to the myth and mythos of Thorosden that you could do an entire campaign on, just solving these couple of mysteries. And you could play a game for years just focusing on that and all the different blind alleys and different theories, and you have to follow up on things, and people are trying to stop you, and so all kinds of things you could do with turning these mysteries into adventures. You could have a whole campaign which is predicated on tracking down the sacred gems that were offered to Tharizdun as a way of possibly thwarting this cult of Tharizdun, this very small group of fanatics who want to free him, and you as the players have to stop them. But in the course of doing so, you're going to have to find the answers to these questions just as they're seeking for the same answers. Because in order to stop them, you have to know what they're going to do. So you have to answer those questions. Is that Thordun? Who did this to him, and could we get their help again? If he's in there, how would the cult try to go about getting him out? Obviously, the different rituals they were doing in the temple weren't working, so they're obviously going to try something else, and on and on and on and on. You could do an entire campaign around that, and it would be a hoot. And it all boils down to these essential, mysterious questions that were in the original module that remain unanswered, and that's why I think those unanswered mysteries are the spice of life that you can turn into an entire game. Hi, everybody. Please help me keep Greyhawk alive by liking this video and subscribing. It really does help. You can also become a member of the channel or support me on Patreon and get early access to my videos, exclusive content, free or at-cost copies of my Greyheim Adventures modules, and more. Thanks, and now back to the show. And another one is the serpent. We know about the serpent in the context of Vecna. I believe it was first introduced in Vecna Lives, and they talked about him in Die Vecna Die, and Hand of the Revenant showed it, and so forth. But the true nature of the serpent is really still ambiguous and unknown, because over the years we've seen different conflicting truths about what the serpent is. In fact, they even counted it in Dragon 359, which was the last print issue. They counted that as one of the great unsolved mysteries of the world of Greyhawk. What is the nature of the serpent? And this would be a way to do something with Vecna that is kind of new, because I think Vecna is an enormously overused villain. For a while there, everything was Vecna, and I don't like it. And I get it, with Stranger Things and everything. They use the name there for the big bad. It makes sense that they would do that, but to me, it really feels like Vecna as a character is overused. But if you do something obliquely with the Serpent, who is originally said to be Vecna's mentor. Um, but over the years, they've kind of implied that the serpent is something that Vecna kind of made up, or imagined in his madness or something like that. So there's conflicting uh, information about the nature of the serpent. The dragon even speculates that it could be Asmodeus in another guise. But whatever it is, you as the DM, you could give a definitive answer to the mystery of what is the serpent in your own campaign, and use that as the spur for a whole bunch of adventures too. Let's say there is a cult of Vecna out there doing something, but they are turning to the serpent because they want to. Maybe they're disillusioned with Vecna and they want to go to the source, themselves, and become the next Vecna by getting this power directly from the serpent. Maybe there's that would cause some sort of civil war within the Vecna cult, and the PCs are in there to stop it. But it all hinges on you as the DM. What is your answer to that fundamental question? What is the serpent? And from that answer, you can weave all kinds of different adventures. So this isn't just an academic exercise. The whole point of having these mysteries out there, and without a definitive answer from on high, from the rules, from the publisher, but it's left to you as the game master, as the dungeon master, to fill in these details, to solve these mysteries, and to use them as the impetus for adventures in your own game. So those are just three examples that I thought of off the top of my head. I'm sure there's a gazillion others that you could do the same thing with. What happens if where did the spaceship in Expedition to the Barrier Peaks come from? And maybe is a rescue ship coming maybe at some point? Who knows? There's all kinds of things you could do with these mysteries to use them as a jumping off point for adventures in your own campaign. So hope you've liked this idea I've had, and the examples I gave. Please, I'd love to hear if you've done anything with these. What are some of the other mysteries that you've noted over the years in the world of Greyhawk that haven't gone answered? And maybe how have you answered them? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Do let me know. Hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll talk to you all. Thanks for watching today's video. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Below you'll find links to my Patreon, which helps make these videos possible. You'll also find the web store where you can buy my books, and my blog where you'll find all sorts of free downloads and other articles. Thanks, and have a great day.